Okay, Grand Rising is Shay Seeking. Welcome back. This is part 2 of this video about the order out of chaos, George Floyd and Leviticus thing. So here's a little article. I'm just going to read it, a little bit of it. So it says 33 represents the Christ consciousness. Jesus was crucified. Okay, we did this. Place of the skull. Again, Golgotha, I guess we can maybe see where that may even be, but even I'm seeing this, okay, because Leviticus is, I think, a book that they're saying happened over an extended amount of time from, I don't want to get the numbers wrong. From 5 something to 335. I don't know if it was AD. I think it was AD. Okay. Excuse me. So the way I was looking at it was even thinking, if we're talking, the way I did the numbers in my, I don't know, the way I see it, it was kind of bringing me back. If you add that 300 and if you added that 335 or whatever it was on, you would be around the time when I think that there was another coming of a Jesus or Christ consciousness. Again, was around the time of the whole John Brown, Harper's Ferry, whatever thing that we've talked about before, which would be again whatever it was. I think it was 32, because whatever it was brought me to the year after they started the Negro Exodus or American Indian Exodus or the Indian removal or Trail of Tears thing like this. And again, those things had happened before, but just because we're in this type of history, and that's what I'm saying, and even though other text is older and whatever, us looking at it in the biblical sense of the Old Testament, is closer to our time, so that if you go back into our story here in America, you're able to not have to learn another language. And if you have eyes to see, which I think it is a form of a gifted vision, how they say that sons and daughters are going to prophesy and truth is going to be out and everybody's going to know and all these things. So again, I think that there are people that have different gifts. We all have them, and strengths, okay, when it comes to seeing things on a spiritual, I'm trying to get out of using that term and use something else, level, but it's easy for people to know what I'm saying when I say it like that. So not like what you're talking about in church, but another aspect, okay, of going within, okay, to find whatever it is you would need to fulfill your works in this realm or in this life. Not how they have us thinking that you're supposed to be going to work every day so you can get a nice car and get a nice house so you can keep on working for them and making them fat while you sit, and you see what I'm saying? So this is the type of thing that we think life is. Have children, go to school, graduate, not in that order, but I'm just saying them, okay? And again, there's more to life. There's more to you and me than that. Okay, again, we just have to learn to tap back into that. And some of us are being driven or guided by guides or a sense of helpers, okay, or getting downloads of information in order to turn to our real purpose. That's what I want to say, okay? So again, this is talking about seeing Revelations 12, the red dragon, stars of heaven. Let's see. The number of turns in a complete sequence of human DNA equals 33. Mount Hermon is 33 degrees latitude, longitude. The Book of Enoch. Mount Hermon is the place. The Watchers, Sons of God, or Nephilim. See, I'm wondering what the Nephilim have to do with any type of like Olmec kind of thing or whatever. Again, and I don't even know if I finished my last point of us basically using this text. For some reason, I can see directly through. So as I'm reading this text, there is something leading me or guiding me or showing me what the real is taking. As I'm reading this text, it might take me a couple times, might take me 1 hour on one chapter or one verse to break it down, but I'm saying that there is something there that is helping me see, okay, through read between the lines, or you see, like this. But again, I've always been really good at reading people and auras and seeing things and knowing things when it comes to the people that are close to me. But again, it's all wrapped up in my sign, in my numerology, in all of these things. So, yeah. So again, the Bible is just a book that I use because, again, it does have all the information compiled in one. But I also read lots of other texts. It's easier for me to show you guys with the Bible, but I look at the I have a Nag Hammadi, I have the Kabbalah, I have looked into the Dead Sea Scrolls, looked into the Mecher Necher. So again, all of this stuff is still just different levels of what we're reading here. Okay. Some of it might be a little bit older or whatnot, but again, this is the tool that we have in as Americans. We have been turned to kind of just pick this up and that's it. People don't even want to read the Apocrypha or the Book of Enoch, or and I read all of these things. Okay, so again, and they all still lead me back to the Bible being the most basic way to draw on the energy and be able to open up and see. Okay, so again, and etymology. Okay. So the divine name Elohim appears 33 times in the story of creation. In the opening chapter of Genesis, the first temple of Solomon stood for 33 years before being pillaged by King Shishka of Egypt. And I was just reading about him in here. Okay. King David ruled over Israel for 33 years in Jerusalem. 33 is the alleged age of Alexander the Great of Macedonia. It's open. The Grand Orient of de France of Freemasonry, founded in 1733. Okay, so again, here we go with that 33 that I was just talking about when I said that this is when we're looking at the book of Leviticus, that year. It's hard to tell you what I mean. Okay, 33 is the highest degree of Scottish Rite Freemasonry. Harry S. Truman. I'm about to say Tubman. Okay, so Harry S. Truman, 33 degrees. President of the United States. Adolf Hitler, Chancellor, 1933. The normal human spine has 33 vertebrae. Rare human spines have 34 vertebrae. That would be nice to know if you have one or the other. Jeremiah 33:3. Call to me and I will answer you and tell you great and unsearchable things you do not know. Again, we often see that even when it comes to either Abraham or Moses or other characters in the Bible, they see God in a vision or a dream, or in the pineal actually is listed in the Bible. Okay, so again, that's what I'm saying. Is that the seat of Ra, or is that the seat of Osiris, or Again, how many different levels? These things were attached to certain groups of people or so-called nations. So again, since we're all mixed up, finding yourself is tuning you in to look at some of these. Again, I don't worship any of these beings that are put forth. Their story just helps add. They're just guiding, or that's why I call them guides, or they add additives into your seeing and knowing. Gnostic, I think this is on the gnosticwarrior.com. So it's about knowing. Okay, you've elevated into a status and a different mindset that you're using, not just on that lower dealing with the reptilian fight or flight type of energy. Okay, so again, Ezekiel 33 and 33. And when this cometh to pass, lo, it will come, then shall they know that a prophet hath been among them. Okay. The morning I was awoken at 3:33. Again, 3:33 times 2 is 66. By a text on my cell phone. So that's what this person was saying, about why he felt like he wanted to write this article. Okay. So again, we're going to go ahead and stop there. Okay. So again, we already know that this Ordo Chaos is talking about the order out of chaos. Okay. So let's just go ahead and look at a couple things in Leviticus, and then I'm going to let you guys go. By the way, I hope you're enjoying this, because again, I've been up in this text just going in. I'm all over the place, but there's so many things that I'm seeing, I can't even keep up with actually, showing you. Okay. So again, now this is Leviticus. Now remember, we saw that. I'm telling you that they don't put that for no reason. They don't put symbols in these images for no reason. See, and the thing is, when you start to be able to see, you almost like at your own Godhead. You've replaced it, your inner, okay, goddess or whatever. You've tapped into that, okay, and you can never go back to the same way. You'll change, things in your life will change, people, everybody's going to have different terms to explain this. Everybody's going to have a different story, but it is something that cannot be explained. Okay. So you would have to witness it to see, okay, or to know. Okay. So again, here we go. So this is Leviticus. It says the Lord now spoke to Moses from the tabernacle. And again, I did a video on the tabernacle, and my, again, I call some of these videos my freestyles. This is a freestyle. I threw this stuff together within about a 20-minute time after seeing that image of the order out of chaos. I knew we were on to something. And that's what I'm saying. Once you start to look and seek, things will be brought in front of you randomly that will also add to pieces of the puzzle and give you a fuller understanding or overstanding of these particular things that have been hidden, again, from the general public or the masses. Okay. And the way they do this is by over indoctrination of schools, churches, overworking, overstress. It's all the stresses of this type of life. And once you get in tune with this, all of that kind of starts to shed away, and you feel like you're untouchable. Not when we're talking about the Dalit or caste system, but you really feel like that. Okay. So again, the Lord now spoke to Moses from the tabernacle and commanded him to give the following instructions to the people of Israel. Okay. So this is what he told. The Lord spoke to Moses, telling him some instructions for the people of Israel. The people of Israel. So now remember that we're using that term, but who are people? So-called black people are not people. Okay. When it comes to their law, their infrastructure, their construct, and their abode, the abode of God in the heavens, the caste system, or your governing force. Okay. They were meant, just like I've just started doing something on inferior or being inferior. And I've already put up one, but there's going to be 3 parts to that, speaking on how this God created you. You didn't sin against this God. he just came and created his nation in the book of Genesis on top of a primitive pre-Adamite group of Aboriginal people, okay, darker view people that were around this whole entire globe, supposedly, okay, but it's supposed to be fixed on his axis, okay. So again, or this so-called world, every single continent, not just Africa. Now, if you want to say that they call this whole thing Africa, like some people say Pangea, okay then. But other than that, everybody didn't come from that portion of land right there. Unless Africa, again, I do have old maps that that state that there is a believe West Africa, okay, over here in America on the East Coast, okay. So that was very mysterious there, okay. And if you really look at the type of topography and things in the layout, or you use Google satellite view, you'll see that it seems the land might be still connected in a sense, and that again, there's just a overabundance of water there. And is this why when they came here looking for the copper mines and all these things, which I have maps and I've done videos back when I first started about the copper mines and we looked at maps and stuff, well, they started to put up dams, okay? And now we see dams are breaking and things like this. But they started to put those dams up. Now, again, was that something to force the water to flow in a certain position? Maybe down where, again, so-called Muir or Mu, or shoot, Atlantis, again, supposedly. All the stuff that is underneath the ocean on the coast of America that are of antiquity, ruins, okay? So again, that area, you'll see that there is still a mass or so underneath that water, okay? So again, here we go. And he commanded him to give the following instructions to the people of Israel. So this is not the full thing of Israel, it's the people, okay? When you sacrifice the Lord, okay, when you sacrifice the Lord, use animals, okay? So again, what does this say to you, okay? From your herds and flocks. Now let's just stop right there, okay? Now, to the people, the citizens, the real citizens, the living creatures, the ones that were created from your DNA, okay? Okay? Because again, in the beginning, when God began to create, the earth was first a chaotic mass, vapor, whatever. We're going to talk about this vapor in a minute. And then God was brooding over it, okay? And he saw it was dark and he wanted to make it light, and he did. That's just simple as fact. So anybody talking about where did racism stem from or whatever, so-called racism, because again, there's a different take on that word once you look at it in etymology, okay? So when we're talking about that, it stems from right there. That's the starting of the culling or tilling, breaking down, ruining, flattening out, putting it down low forever in hell or the Sheol. That is the whole thing of what happened to the people that were here. Okay? So, when he's saying, speaking to them in the tabernacle that was burning all day, were they just bringing hundreds and hundreds of thousands of bodies in there and dumping them? Okay? Again, notice that mass grave that they dug over there in that island off of New York was the shape of the tabernacle. Okay? Who knows what they set up after they took the cameras away. Okay? So again, when you sacrifice to the Lord, okay, when you sacrifice to the Lord, use animals from your herds and flocks. Again, I'm making reference to this because I know animals, when you look this up in etymology, it says it's the term used for people as well. We know that they have been known to call certain people animals, and some other people have known to been saying that some people are connected to the, I think it's the RH factor, I believe, in the some type of monkey, okay? Again, and they try to say that some people are apes, or they came from with the Darwin thingy, okay? So again, use animals from your herds. See, so Cain and Abel, what were they? Keeper of sheep and, you know, all these things. Slave masters, landlords, okay? That's what these people were. Breeding grounds for some, okay? A lot of slavery was about breeding, okay? From your herds or your stock, again, stock market, okay? Are they trading you with your social security or your birth certificate on the stock market? Okay? Your chattel or cattle, same thing. Produce, fruit, same thing. Meat, food, same thing. And flocks, okay? Again, flocks of birds, okay? Lots of these emblems, even when you talk about Native Americans, when you talk about a lot of different lands like Spain and stuff, they have a fowl of the air, okay, that is representing a group of people. And know that those people were even coming over here prior to Europeans, okay? So again, this is when we talk about a sacrifice, okay? Some people think that this was a sacrifice, okay? Okay? So if your sacrifice is to be an oxen, give the burnt offering only let's see, what did I write here? Circus. Okay, so if your sacrifice is to be an oxen, give as in burnt offering, use only a bull with no physical defects. Bring the animal to the entrance of the tabernacle, because again, I showed you guys the way that they set up these camps. I forgot what we call them, but that's what the video was about. The camps that they were setting up during these wars and how they resembled the tabernacles. And then on the other side of these encampments were also prisons, okay, where they were bringing in people from the wilderness, okay, savages, heathens, pagans, okay. So again, bring the animal to the or the person, okay, interchangeable, to the entrance of the tabernacle where the priest will accept your gift for the Lord. The person bringing it is to lay his hand upon its head, okay, and it is then becomes his substitute. Again, his substitute. Is it for himself? A substitute for what? The death of the animal will be accepted by God instead of the death of the man who brings it. Okay, so again, this God, okay, is going to take this sacrifice of this animal, which is probably just a slave, okay, instead of him, okay. The man shall then kill the animal there before the Lord. So you're going to just kill him right there or sacrifice him right in front of the Lord. Okay. And again, I was trying to think nicely and say this could be, bringing somebody before the court. Okay. Which could be another thing, before the court, and then choosing whether they are a living creature or not. Okay. Again, to each his own. I'm just showing you that there's an alternative view in here. And, I'm not making this up, that we're using actual things and tools to see this, okay? Correlating things in different books and different, scriptures and word, okay? So kill the animal there before the Lord, and Aaron's sons, the priests, will present the blood before the Lord, sprinkling it on the other sides of the altar, entrance of the tabernacle. Then the priest will skin the animal. So again, here we go talking about the whole thing I just did on skinning beavers. Again, that keeps popping up even when we're talking about this stuff, okay? A beaver's den and stuff like that in some of these places where people were slaughtered, okay? So tanners, okay? Again, when we're talking about the fur trade and all this other stuff, remember, they were using human skin for things as well back then too, okay? So again, we'll skin the animal and quarter it up and build a wood fire upon the altar and put the sections of the animal and its head and fat upon the wood, okay? So again, let's see. The internal organs and the legs. This was, I was reading this book and it was very disturbing to me My spirit wasn't sitting right, but again, I knew I had to get through it to a certain extent to show you guys. Okay. So the internal organs and the legs are to be washed. Then the priest will burn them upon the altar, and they will be accepted for a burnt offering with the Lord will be pleased. Okay. So then again, we see stuff about sheeps and goat and different blemishes. It's going to keep saying the same thing as to different groups that you bring. These are the different things that you have to do. Okay. So it says if, now we're in Leviticus 14, if anyone wishes to use a bird, again, we're leaning towards the bird because this whole thing is going on with Floyd and the tattoo and all this other stuff, order out of chaos. And as his burnt offering, he may choose either turtle doves or or young pigeons. A priest will take the bird from the altar and wring off his head. I'm just saying. I went back to that George Floyd video and I watched it, and I see lots of markers and strange things set up on the ground that you might just automatically think at the first sight that we are talking about certain, these are just markings that because they're going to be doing construction on the road or something. But no, 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 no. Okay, maybe we'll do a video on it and I'll show you guys what I'm talking about real quick. Okay. So again, then the priest will remove the crop. Wait, okay. A priest will take the bird to the altar and wring off its head, and the blood shall be drained out at the side of the altar. Again, I don't know that that was blood coming from the thing. I thought it was like the AC fluid or something coming out of the muffler that was coming out, but someone said that he urinated possibly on himself, which happens when you expire. Okay. Then the priest will remove the crop remove the crop, okay, and the feathers and throw them. Again, a crop could be a produce or like the wheat and the tare, okay, like we were talking about, okay. Throw them on the east side of the altar with the ashes, then grasp its wings. Again, I'm not going this far with it. I'm just pointing out that piece, but this just reminded me of, again, how when you have those, how in that video we just saw of the face, seeking his face, I believe I named it, in America, and how we saw those beings that look like they might be pent behind their arms. Okay, or something that looked like that. Okay. And then I was just thinking about how, when you have those handcuffs on, that kind of is what that looks like. Okay. Then grasp me by the wings, again, grabbing him by his arms. He shall tear apart. And I know I've seen somebody put a video up. Again, I will have to go look at it again, saying that they might have been using a form of a dummy or something when this thing occurred. And that's what was probably going on behind the scenes with the other officers that were behind the car that we didn't see in the actual first footage. And then also, what was I going to say? Shoot. I keep on losing my track of mind because I'm still rushing, always rushing. So, yeah. Anyway. Yeah, that they might have been using some kind of dummy or something like that. And that when they put them on when they put them on the stretcher, they didn't even try to do any CPR or anything like this. And when they put him on the stretcher, someone pointed out where's his legs, okay? And they showed a type of dummy that's been a newer type of dummy that looks realistic or whatever that they could have been using. Again, that's not I'm just showing you guys that because we just saw this part here. Excuse me, sorry. And the greatest priest shall burn it upon the altar, and the Lord will have pleasure in this sacrifice. Okay? So again, I was just thinking too, it was a part that I put in here about traveling, because they were saying make sure you bring it somewhere, and I was thinking about how they keep bringing the body to these different places. I think they finally buried it now, but that was just kind of strange as well. And how we're going to talk about all the priests and all the people coming in to come to see when one of these things happen, because it's so funny, because I just was talking last night about why, when one of these high profile cases happen, do they feel it's necessary to have all of these celebrities and all of these people come in? You know what I'm saying? Who cares that much? And what are we really watching here? Okay, is this some type of ritual that we're being involved in? Okay, um, it just seems very strange again that these leaders and these people, they make a big thing out of it, and they get all these lawyers and everything involved, and then you see all of these high profile, supposedly high profile people in high places coming down to worship the beast or to worship the animal or the lamb or whatever. Just saying, that was sacrificed. Okay, possibly. Okay, so again, sorry guys. I know I said I was gonna make it just 2 videos, but we're just gonna have to go to 3. I'm just really trying to make these short because people enjoy watching them in shorter takes. And then I feel like a lot of people get halfway through and don't finish. And then some of the way that I work is I lead up to the good stuff sometimes. So then people might miss out on good pointers if I make them too long. So again, I want to thank you guys for stopping by. Don't forget to subscribe and please hit the like button because I've been having some issues with YouTube. It's just really, when you put this much work into it, you just really want to share it. And it's not really for the likes. It's really, I'm looking at it as the amount of people that are awake and walking with each other so that we can, enlighten others and we can start reaching for that uh, uh, ultimate, what can we call it? United, okay, stand front of awakened people using their energy and their power towards something that will actually bring some real change to our people. Okay, so again, it's not about the likes. I've been doing this for 6 years already without the likes. So that's just fine. Okay, so again, yeah, so be safe out there and take care, and I hope to see you back for part 3.